Hi, my name is GGurney, and I will be discussing one of the most influential manga artists, Katsuhiro Otomo. Katsuhiro Otomo was born on April 1954 in the Miyagi Prefecture in Japan and grew up in the Tone District. Living in the rural region left him with nothing to do as a child, so he read a lot of manga. Limited to his parents buying him one book a month, he drew manga on his own and thought about becoming a manga artist himself. Otomo attended Sonoma High School, where he developed a keen interest in film. One of his friends at the time introduced him to an editor at Futabasha, a Japanese publishing company in Tokyo, who, after seeing Otomo's manga, told him to contact the company if he ever moved to Tokyo after graduating. Otomo did exactly that, determined to become a comic book artist, and got a job in the burgeoning manga industry. A fan of American and European comics, Otomo developed a realistic art style that eventually revolutionized the way manga is drawn in Japan. Almost all manga at the time were drawn in a dramatic style to work alongside more mature themes. Instead, he chose to work with a more illustrative style. Taking inspirations from the French cartoonist Mobius, Otomo balanced realism and fantasy, and critics praised him as the first manga artist to draw realistic Japanese faces. He gained inspiration for characters based off an odd variety and combination of old-school downtown types he saw outside his apartment, giving his fictional stories a warm and believable feel. Otomo saw manual laborers, bartenders, low-level yakuza, and young couples dazed by the new suburban experience. His first commission was writing short strips for Action Comics, which began appearing in October 1973. This first commission, A Gun Report, was an adaptation of a French writer, Prosper Mérimy's novella Matteo Falcone, in which a young boy in 19th century Corsica, Italy, accepts a bribe from a wounded smuggler to hide him. Over the next few years, Otomo tried his hand at a wide range of genres in self-contained short stories for Action. Boogie Woogie Waltz was Otomo's first headline strip for Action. Waltz was a series of short stories delving into the seedier side of urban living in modern-day Tokyo, dealing with drug abuse, sexual perversion, and rock music. On his return from visiting New York, he created Sayonara Nippon, chronicling the story of a Japanese martial arts professor living in Manhattan. At the time, it was Otomo's largest sustained work in comics. In 1979, he started the manga Fireball, but is sadly left unfinished after growing weary after about 20 pages. This comic introduced sci-fi themes such as supercomputers, psychic powers, man versus technology, and futuristic apocalyptic cities that he adopted in his later works. These added details became Ultimo's trademark in the industry, as well as his first real foray into the genre. From 1980 to 1982, Ultimo found his first smash hit, Domo, A Child's Dream, a chilling and visually stunning tale of a suburban community manipulated by a mysterious resident with the power to telepathically control others. The graphic novel was an instant success. The English translation was released by Dark Horse Comics in 1996 and became just as popular. The manga won Japan's Science Fiction Grand Prix Award in 1983, making it the first time ever that the recipient was a manga. In 1982, Otomo also worked in animation for the first time, designing several characters for the epic anime Harmageddon. After Domu, Otomo began to work on his masterpiece, Akira, which took 10 years and consisted of 2,000 pages. From 1982 to 1990, Akira became a bi-monthly serialization in Young magazine. Over the course of its run, Otomo's epic masterpiece turned him into a superstar in Japan and changed the way manga was perceived in the West forever. In 1988, the animated film of Akira was released in Japan, with Otomo assuming the roles of director, writer, designer, and senior illustrator. The project was also the most expensive anime ever made, budgeted at over 1 billion yen. It was the biggest box office taker that year in Japan, and then went on to amaze the rest of the world. In 1990, the success of Akira marked the beginning of Otomo's withdrawal from the works of comics. The Legend of the Mother Sarah has to date been Otomo's last major work in the field. Otomo only provided the scripts for this future tale of a mother searching for her lost children across a post-apocalyptic wasteland. He moved on to work in the film industry in the early 2000s. Two of his most notable works are Steam Boy, an animated steampunk action film, and Otomo's second major anime release as a director, and Metropolis, a Japanese animated futuristic dieselpunk drama film based upon Ozumu Tezuka's 1949 manga of the same name. Seeming to have taken a break during the 2010s, in 2019, Otomo announced that as his next big project, he is writing and directing an animated film adaptation of his 2001 manga, Orbital Era. Katsuhiro Otomo's work influenced Japan and a multitude of manga artists as well, but didn't stop at Japan. American media has time and time again made callbacks to the manga artist's work. Multiple shows and movies imitate and reference the original Akira motorcycle slide from the animated film. Despite the legacy he already left behind, Otomo is still creating stories for his audience to enjoy.